Um, Hi everyone. If there isn't everyone. I don't know. I'm just kind of doing this for myself right now. But happy Pride Month. Woo! I'm losing my camera. Woo! Is that good? Yes. All right. So happy Pride Month. This is a little over 13 months HRT for me, and obviously some voice training, and obviously not obviously so obviously some voice training, and also 1 month on progesterone, and I thought I would go over just kind of some of the physical changes or lack thereof that I've noticed. This will probably be the last one of these that I do for a while at least, just because after a year things start flattening out, and I definitely didn't document the first year because I had stuff going on. Kind of things you notice, like, so I did like the year video and talked about like a bunch of the updates and a bunch of just like the year long stuff. And so we're at right now is kind of just like the leveling out basically of everything. It's like body just went through a pretty big change over the past 12 months. They're a little bit over, and so now it's like just settling into what it's doing. And so like obviously at this point I've got like a little more hip development. I'll show you that in a second. My shoulders have slimmed down just a little bit more, and then because I was on progesterone, things are happening up here, we'll say, but nothing crazy dramatic. Most of the big changes and things I noticed were between 9 months and a year. So at this point, yeah, just kind of my body's kind of maturing and relaxing kind of into itself now versus going and stressing itself out and doing a bunch of physical changes, which was great and was super good. I just definitely didn't know don't notice as many changes anymore from here on out, I think. I will not be showing you around anything because my room is a disaster area. You can see the mess behind me. I'll cover it up as much as I can. Don't look. Let's see what else has been going on. I've very much been hyper emotional the past couple months, um, which is a little bit of like some extraneous life things, and then also like my dosage on estrogen is extremely high, and I will not discuss kind of exact numbers, which I think is my gonna be my go-to policy on this channel because everyone's dosage changes and varies, and very much it's like that's entirely up to you and your doctor, and you shouldn't necessarily have other people influencing your opinions a huge amount. Oh, my hair is crazy today. That's all right. Let's see what else. Yeah, just moved into a new place, so the mess is obscene. I could do like brief voice training talk. I want to do like a fuller video on this at some point. But like I'm starting to get like more of my resonance locked in. And like the pitch was never like too hard because I did like vocal stuff in college, and um so I was like prepared to voice train, but I never really got it locked kind of until pretty recently. Um so that's been super interesting. My voice no longer outs me in public. So I can kind of just present full time and interact with people, and I don't get weird looks. I just get normal day to day conversations, which is very nice, very helpful. Um, and what else? Um, I'm playing with for some of you who aren't like more along like the binary switch of like uh fully male to fully female. This will be a little weird. I'm also considering within the realm of like she they pronouns, versus just she her. Certainly we'll see. but like uh kind of like my gender kind of feels like mostly female but kind of female adjacent versus uh like I think I just said versus fully female. Ugh, I'm rambling. So like looks female, acts female, but not quite completely. I guess is kind of where I'm going with right now. We'll see how that adapts and how that changes. But at the very least, I like the clothes and the outfits, um, and how I sound now. So that's all good. Uh, just started. Um, just started some laser hair removal. So that's been super nice. That was definitely my biggest dysphoria point, was like a mustache here, um, which would stress me out, and I'd pluck it and like stress about it all the time. Um, and if you can't tell in the video, which I hope maybe not, I'm not wearing any makeup, and I'm not like covering, I'm not color correcting. And so there's like just a little bit of darkness because I'm only a couple sessions in. Um, but certainly I can like not worry about doing like a face full of makeup. And that's super helpful for my mental health. Even just like day to day and like still mask presenting at work. Um, Definitely like something that helps me process just a lot. Like one less step in the day. Like I still shave every day, but it's definitely not the necessity that it used to be, which is awesome. Um, 10 out of 10 would recommend. It does hurt a little bit, of course. But uh, not as much as constantly stressing about all the things. Obviously, my shoulders are out and about. I still also get like a little bit of like that shoulder dysphoria that a bunch of trans women have. Um, my air conditioning just kicked on. Lovely. Hope you can't hear it. So I do still get a little bit of shoulder dysphoria. But as you can see, like instead of like kind of a guy's shoulder where it like bulges out here and then like wraps here and then like goes down into my arm, I've obviously lost a ton of shoulder definition on both sides, which has created like a much more like slimming effect down, which we love it. And so now it just looks like I am like very athletic, which is completely false. I mean, I used to be very athletic, and now I am completely and utterly just a homebody. I work at a desk all day. I play video games all night. Which I'll start a Twitch channel at some point, and we all can hang out there. So like I'm kind of rocking with the tall, in shape, Amazon warrior-esque woman vibes. And I'm just hanging out because I am not in shape, but certainly my skeleton is trying its best, which is a good kind of segue into like things that don't obviously change. Like bone structure doesn't change. Like everything else kind of adapts a little bit, but like my hands are still the same length. Just the fingers have slimmed down a little bit, but very much like same width of hand, same length of hand. And like the slimming effect is very pronounced and helps my hands also feel better. Rather than like they felt like they were like, I think I've said this before, like they were encased, like my hands felt like they were in gloves, basically. And so like now they're slimmed down a bit and it feels much more like me, which we vibe with. But definitely that's like hands still the same, shoulders, like if I measure like point from shoulder, like the point of my shoulder blade to the point of, not my shoulder blade, point of like where my collar meets my shoulder, like that point to that point, that's obviously stayed the same, and will never change in my lifetime. And like as far as I can tell right now, I haven't noticed any height differential, as much as that like that's anecdotal for some people versus some others. Definitely not. Like that has not changed. I've gotten some fat redistribution around my hips, but like my like hip bones, like my pelvis hasn't changed shape at all. It's just like if you put your hand like if you put your palm at like the top of your hip bone and then lay it down, like at the tip of your fingertips is where I got most of my fat redistribution to. And so it's a very feminizing effect, but it also means that my legs are like, the hips are lower down my legs than they would look if I'd gone through like normal female puberty and like had my hips expanded at that time. And I did start when I was like 23, 24-ish. There's a little bit of detransition in there. And so like I was never going to get any hip expansion because they were already fused. And so like that's things that don't change. Obviously, things that also don't change are your voice. So that's why we do voice training. And if you give me a little bit longer, I'll like start figuring out how to set up an infrastructure for voice feminization lessons. You know, as I get my voice locked in a little bit more. I promise I have like a music degree and I like did voice lessons for years, and so that plus voice training, and once I figure some stuff out, I'd love to help all y'all do that as well, because that just becomes like voice is such a huge part of passing. And like that's just something that a lot of trans women are uncomfortable with, and it like helps us out a bunch to feel more comfortable in ourselves and our voice and our presentation, if like we know people are hearing what they see, and that's just one less way to get outed as well. I should probably just stop the endless random rabbling and kind of show a little bit. I will show a little bit just because I know when I was looking at these videos, it was very crazy. Oh, another thing is, you can see that my hairline is coming back a little bit, but it still has kind of that male pattern, like swoop back here. But there are like baby hairs coming in, and so it's like rounding out my hairline a bit, which feels very nice. Because I was, stressed about everything before like finally committing to go on these meds. And that's kind of how we do. But certainly, like that's one of those things I'm excited to see how like my hairline rounds out as I kind of progress for the next year. That's kind of one of those soft changes that takes a while to kind of bear fruit because like the hair production restarts, but not really. It doesn't progress quickly, and they're kind of baby hairs and. Like hair just takes time to grow. Body hair is also thinned down a lot. Like you can, like I still have hair on my arm, but it's like much thinner. And if I shaved it once, it probably would be like half as much. I just haven't gotten to it yet. It doesn't bother me that much. Leg hair is slowed down significantly. Like I only shave about once or twice a week now. I also don't care as much. And I don't like need to shave my legs to kind of feel feminine anymore, versus before where that was like kind of I shaved daily and then was sad because it would grow back like within the same day, versus now I get like a day or maybe like a day or two of buff period, and then I'm at the kind of point where I don't care if my leg hair is a little bit longer, because beauty is a construct, and women are sold razors for their legs by a company that made up the whole process. So, smash the patriarchy, yada, yada, yada. Yes, and then obviously, facial hair doesn't change. Get it lasered off. It's your solution. But yes, I guess I'll wrap this up pretty quick. That's about 15 minutes. But some things like, this is kind of just a very loose tank top and skinny jeans. Pull this up. So you can kind of see, not a, like, obviously, like, I'm skinny, my butt is small. But, like, you can see, like, some thigh and some hip redistribution, like, especially if I pull this tight. You can see very much of, like, a lot of curve here. Some pull in at the waist. And then like some swell out here to like almost put it in line with my shoulders, which is super great. And then obviously like I will always just be broad shouldered comparatively to other women. And I was even pretty slender for a guy. So that's just kind of the reality of the situation. But I'm okay with that. Like this is down to bearable levels for me versus before when I was always very stressed about like my shoulder development and my lack of hip development. Um, so even just like these little like subtle changes, like a little off my shoulders and a little added to my waist, um, were kind of enough. A little added to my hips and a little off my waist. Were just kind of enough to like calm my brain down, um, and we take what we can get, and your mileage will vary. I've been very lucky, and my genetics kind of set me up for success with HRT. Um, in most ways. So yeah, I'll call it there. Sorry that all my videos, as always, are just rambling for like 15 minutes. I hope this was helpful in any way to someone. Yeah, have a great day and stay safe and stay frosty. I don't know why I said that. I've never said that before. I'll never say that again. Bye, y'all.